I do feel like they're trying to shovel water out of their boat, and it's just it's sinking at the same time. I feel that way because I treat my stream as a business, and I'm always looking at the longer term goals, and some of the business decisions that affect streamers in a financial way have been quite detrimental, and their direct competition in this regard, which is going to be YouTube, has been at least talking about making strides that are really, 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 really big for creators. And when you compound how many creators there are in the digital space in live streaming, we're talking about a lot of money, and that's the bottom line for these companies, right? I I don't think that Twitch wants to shoot themselves in the foot, but I do think that the leadership is kind of misguided at the top, and I do think that they're not paying attention to how quickly YouTube is chomping at their heels. Um, in my opinion, all they really need to do to improve the uh, viewer potential that streamers can scoop up is to make right now you can navigate to the live section on YouTube, but it just feels like another YouTube page. And in my opinion, they need to make the live section feel separate from the regular YouTube page. When you click into live, whether it's youtubelive.com or whatever you go to, it needs to feel almost like Twitch. The way to grab people's attention on YouTube is different, but it's super lucrative. And I feel like if they could just round out their formula, so it's not gather people on YouTube and then transfer them to Twitch, but it's rather gather people on YouTube and then just send them on the same platform over to your live experience, which hopefully becomes better than Twitch. It looks like at the moment that they are coming after Twitch pretty hard. I personally think it just needs to happen sooner than later. Um,
Yeah.
they don't need help killing Twitch. I think Twitch is doing that themselves. Twitch is between a rock and a hard place. They have YouTube coming at them from the right, and from the left, they have the worry of the MPAA and RIAA as far as us being music streamers, as far as copyrighted content goes. This is something that they never figured out originally when that first big wave of copyright notices went out. I'm not sure if they temporarily fixed it with money, handshakes behind corporate agendas or whatever,
There
but
was that Twitch music thing that they would let you like. It was a whole library of Twitch approved music that
I
you could
remember
use
that.
for your stream.
Yeah, I remember that.
That the idea was that was the only music that was allowed to be on
Yeah,
Twitch at all.
yeah,
End of
and
story. Anything else was like actionable,
oh,
and
absolutely.
that fell through. So
Right now they still don't have a solid plan in place to protect streamers or their own company, to be completely honest. If they do end up getting sued, which is what I'm kind of not worried about, but it's almost like I expect it. But
mhm.
come on, I'm playing copyrighted music. We're all playing copyrighted music. It's not our music. We're just doing covers. So it's weird, right?
Metallica official rated Roop.
Yeah. No comment.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. The band that wanted to sue everybody when Napster came out, right? The band that was like, "I will sue the pants off you," right? Like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I honestly thought, you know what I actually thought was solution to this was at the beginning I thought that when this was RIA or MPA or whatever was coming at everybody, I was like, you know what should happen, and I think this would work if the biggest bands, the biggest artists with the biggest pull and the most negotiating power with their labels came together, formed a coalition, things would change. They are the only people with the power to make things change. They're only people. They're
yeah, you gotta understand. A lot of time though, the artists are basically puppets to the record labels. It's a mafia, man.
with the music thing. Metallica, for example, they have a lot of draw. I
Mhm.
honestly feel like Metallica could potentially that if all the big four metal bands and all the big four or five pop artists and all the big 10 whatever else artists came together and they were like, no, I honestly wonder what the response would be from the music industry. It's
It's hard to
unfortunate that
say
they don't
because
realize
we're
that.
not in their shoes and we don't see what goes on behind this. What goes in the back. The offices and stuff like that, and the phone calls. Like, there's a lot of stuff I'm sure that we're not privy to that would probably change our opinion on of why they go about things.
Now, as a smaller creator, obviously not one of these big artists,
Mhm.
do you think that monetarily YouTube is going to pull a lot of the smaller creators over to it because of the potential money that we can generate, especially because YouTube is the only platform right now that has a I want to say not a maybe not a proper, but a working copyright system. If obviously if you upload videos or whatever else with copyrighted music in it, it doesn't get taken down, it doesn't get muted. It's just that royalties or whatever are going to go to that band
Mhm.
if any money is generated. I'm not sure if it's the same with live, but this might extend to live streaming in in the future update, which would be cool to me. That would be really cool to me because if you could keep your VODs on YouTube, not have to change platforms, have them unmuted, have them be able to generate money, but it just goes to the artist, that's fine with me. This is something that I'm willing to accept if I'm literally using their content. I understand this is
Right.
going to
Yeah.
piss people
Yeah.
off on Twitch, but people on Twitch need to understand we should not be profiting off other people's music anyway, according to the law, right? Eh,
It's
like
technically transformative content since we're doing covers.
I
It
agree.
falls it falls into a kind of a gray area, but yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. I feel like people, if they're paying you, they're paying for the performance, not the actual
Mhm.
song itself.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the music industry sees it that way. This is why they're suing the
No,
pants off
no.
everybody, right? So, I,
Okay, money.
yeah, yeah.
See, that kind
Um,
of falls back into a lot of the reason why I don't like YouTube as a platform is because I think in a lot of really critical and serious ways they're out of touch with the community that creates the content. Except
also,
for like Mr. Beast and the triple A names that like they have a YouTube person that they can call at any time. But hey, man, blah blah blah, like whatever. Like
but
you
don't you
don't
think
get
that's the
that
same
as
on
just
Twitch? You don't think
no.
like
I feel
XQC? No, like
I
XQC
feel
and Trainwrecks and stuff don't have somebody to immediately call at Twitch and Asmongold and stuff like that. Don't have a
oh
contact
yeah,
where
no, they do, they do, yeah, they do. I guarantee they do. Any partners have a Twitch contact supposedly. If you have partner, you have a Twitch contact. Um, I feel that Twitch is as a whole like their decision makers are more in touch with the average everyday streamer than YouTube is. I personally feel like they are in touch with the content creators, and YouTube just feels like this giant corporate like blank wall that you can't get past.
what is it that you want to reach out to them for? Like I like what I'm confused at the moment is what
I'm not
um
saying it's the contact or lack of available contact that's the issue. It's stuff like YouTube Rewind. Like that just shows how vastly out of touch they are with the people. Like they think that this is something to like be happy about watching. It's like the most self-aggrandizing, like pat on their own back type thing that they can do, and it seems so out of touch and just that's why they didn't do it again because people kept downvoting. It was like the most downvoted video in YouTube history, or something like that. Like every time they do it, they would just get downvoted into oblivion because it's like they're out of touch in that sense.
is not TwitchCon kind of the same thing?
I've never been to TwitchCon. I never even looked into it. I don't know what goes on there.
It's just a celebration of Twitch. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
Like it's not a video; it's a whole convention, and you're not allowed to stream, and you just go there and meet people, and it's just like we're Twitch, and here's what we're about. It's like the same thing.
that's cool, but because you're actually inviting the community to be part of it, whereas the YouTube Rewind is just a bunch of celebrities like patting themselves on the back, and it's like it just doesn't feel like it. The optics are bad. Like it's cringy.
Okay,
It just makes them feel like they don't actually relate at all to the average person. They're just like these little Silicon Valley like bubble, you know.
but we got to remember that Twitch corporate is the exact same thing. There literally is no difference there. Like if we need to make this
True.
distinction, it's not like Twitch our Twitch owners live next door. They're literally in Silicon Valley, right beside Amazon and everybody else. I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily understand why people would dislike them. If you don't like the content, just don't watch it. Like that's the way I treat it. And if you like
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
go ahead and
I didn't
celebrate.
watch it.
I think maybe where they're missing the boat is like I guess if they had something to celebrate small streamers,
When you're live on Twitch, your thumbnail is the entire moment. Like every moment you're streaming, that is your thumbnail. So
unfortunately.
that's why I'm very particular about the stuff behind me. It's
Hmm.
eye catching. It's like, whoa, let me check out this guy's channel. What does he got behind him? If you were gonna ask me what you think my second like biggest growth factor was, I was gonna say raids.
I feel like the raid experience really dropped off for me, and I don't really raid anymore. As soon as they took away tags, I don't know what that decision was. I honestly feel like that was the single dumbest decision as far as the community able to reinvigorate and self support the community.
Mhm.
Them taking away tags.
The way I look at it, if you're not rating someone every single stream, you're actively hurting your channel.
I agree with that before this change.
But here's what comes like it falls back into being part of the community, right? So if I have 10 viewers, like so I have a few set like rules that I like to follow when I raid someone. First of all, generally raid someone who has similar view count. The second one is I try to if I'm doing music, I'll raid a music streamer. If I'm doing video games, I'll raid someone most likely playing the same game. I'm doubling their numbers. All of a sudden, their stream has twice as many viewers as it once had. Even if it's 3 people, I've made connections through through just raids alone. So like I feel like that's an extremely important tool that Twitch gives you. That's another thing I feel awkward about is I don't like raiding someone I've never followed because it's like, oh hey, hi, I do music. Here's a raid. And
See,
it's
but if you're
like
always rating the same people, you're never growing. Like it's almost like what I'm hearing is a little bit counterintuitive in my opinion because if you're only rating people you know, you never get to
I'm not
find new
though.
people.
I'm not. So in some sense, no, yeah, you're right. Like rating the same people, yeah, that can hurt. Not hurt your channel, but it's not helping. Like, but I think if you are, if you use the raid tool properly, I think it's very powerful, personally.
In my experience, rating used to be so much more powerful. I think that's why I have the opinion I have now. It I see what you're saying, but I apply these things to like 5 years ago, to like 6, 7, 8 years. It was so much different. It was
Mhm.
so much different. The amount of live activity on stream and the amount of um, interaction from the viewers was wildly more. Um, Small streamers, it's always been weird with small streamers because it's like activity grows exponentially. So if you go to a popular person's stream, you'll obviously notice that their chat is just going, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't exactly know what the numbers are, but just smaller group of people and it's like people are sometimes nervous to chat. And it's not everybody. Sometimes you get that one viewer that's just filling your chat with like they're super
People are
interactive.
afraid of being that viewer too. People are afraid of being the only person talking.
Now, the last thing, just kind of discoverability. Um, right now, I think most of us, all of us, are realistically, if we want to grow on Twitch, if we want to grow on any live streaming platform, we have to use. I'm going to call them static content platforms. You know, like YouTube, like your content just stays there. People can access wherever. I'm going to call those static content platforms. Do you feel like that's going to continue to be the way that people have to do it to be successful? And I'm actually talking about consistent growth because live streaming is something where you don't really need thousands of people to be monetarily successful. Like if you were doing this full time, if you're streaming every single day and you wanted to make a life off this and pay your bills off this and whatever, you don't need thousands of viewers. It's just about getting those viewers that are obsessed with your content. Do you think that there's enough of those people on Twitch alone, or do you think that like people are gonna have to continue to utilize YouTube? And a follow up, just that last add on to that question is that when YouTube does implement their 2023 live stream changes, what I think are going to be early 2023, um, do you think that because already they have the better monetary pull? Twitch is going 50-50 even for their top people. They've pretty much eliminated the benefit of being a partner.
Partner split. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no benefit anymore. It's only negatives now. You won't be able to stream on other platforms, exclusivity, and there's no reason to have it. You don't even get higher bit rate on YouTube. You can stream up to 50,000 kilobytes. It's that like they have the backbone for it. They're ready to destroy, in my opinion. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think that people are just going to kind of drop Twitch because YouTube has the ability to be discovered? Just because they have it's a search engine. YouTube and Google are search engines where Twitch is not. And I think if Twitch had taken the time earlier on in their inception to build a library of content, oh my goodness, I think they'd be unstoppable right now. But they didn't, and that's what can you do? Like you literally cannot search for streamers. You can just click categories. That's all you can do. The discoverability on Twitch, in my opinion, is abysmal, and I don't know how they're gonna fix it.
Well, speaking from my perspective only, I always say I'm doing this for fun because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, if I'm not feeling like streaming, I'm not going to. And if I
yeah,
was treating this like a job, I would be streaming on days I don't feel like streaming. Do I think that it's important to diversify onto other platforms? Yeah. If you really want to grow, it's about planting that seed that'll eventually grow. And
yes,
if I just keep doing that, eventually, I'll grow in that sense.
yes.
As far as like the monetary thing goes, I've been making music for 20 years and I've never even made a penny off of that. So like to come onto Twitch, not even know how to play guitar, attempt to, and make money for that blows me away. Like I love it. Like it's amazing. Like I'm so thankful for the audience that I have who make that happen.
The monetary, paths that both platforms have are a little different. It's hard to have a solid opinion now, especially with I mean, Twitch just making their change recently with the 70/30 to 50/50. Alright, so that's the end of the second half of my interview with Blairway on the state of Twitch. If you like the content, please drop a like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.